Hi, my name's Megan, and I was defrauded by a fake millionaire. Let's talk about it. So, I'm an animal rescuer. I basically have devoted my life to helping animals. Um, I wasn't really able to do much for animals because I always lived in an apartment and didn't have a good car, and I'm disabled, so I can really only help on a limited volunteer capacity. But I love animals and I was happy to do anything that I could do. In April of 2022, I rescued a pig, and he was supposed to go to a different farm sanctuary to a fellow colleague named Jason. Jason changed his mind and decided instead to introduce me to someone he had previously placed animals with here in upstate New York, named Steven McEnaney. Steven has an animal sanctuary called Hunks and Hunnies Animal Sanctuary, which is off topic, side note, this is the dumbest name ever for an animal sanctuary, but I digress. Hunks and Hunnies Animal Sanctuary, and he has, at last count, he has 130 animals in his care spread out over 3 properties in Salt Point where he lives. Steven told me that he was in the process of moving all of his animals and him and his son and his whole sanctuary here to Mayapack, New York, where I am currently living by myself on an abandoned 30-acre property. He told me everything was being moved here, and he offered me a position to live here and basically be a volunteer for the day-to-day sanctuary things and fundraising and social media. And I jumped on it because I've always wanted to be part of a sanctuary. That's pretty much all I've ever wanted. So he offered me that position in December 2022. He told me that, start making it happen. It's for summer. So I moved here in May of 2023, on May 13th to be exact. And as soon as I got here, I immediately knew that, there's nothing here. He told me that there were barns being built, fencing was being installed, animals were actively being moved here. The only animals that were here were 4 cats that were living in a house on this property that is completely abandoned, has nothing in it except for those cats. And he was neglecting them to the point that he didn't show up for 5 days straight at one point to feed them or anything. And when I found out, I stepped in, and ever since then is when he has basically just been on a complete warpath. Since I've been here, I didn't understand why he would have moved me and my animals here when, according to him, he told me 4 days after I got here, there was never going to be an animal sanctuary here. So I didn't understand why he moved me here, because obviously that's not just like an overnight decision. It wasn't, oh, I'm moving here on this day, so the day before we're just going to scrap everything. That's not how it works. Especially because I have photos and text messages, and this was going on for the entirety of the year that I was making moves and coming here. So I get here, he's immediately hostile, threatens me, threatens my animals, and I didn't understand why until I looked him up in the public record clerk of court to find out that he has so many lawsuits against him for fraud, non-payment, breach of contract, theft of services. He literally hasn't even paid for his car since 2019. So in 2019, essentially what happened is he formed a 501c3 nonprofit with the government of his animal sanctuary. And in doing so, he was able to obtain this 30-acre property for free. The deed of sale says that it was given to him for $10. I'll be including all of the evidence, all the receipts, everything is gonna is going to be available. So I'm going to keep this video pretty short, and I am going to be making this into a series of other videos so that, like I said, I can speak on one topic at a time a little more thoroughly without rambling, because I really hate talking about myself, and when I do, I tend to just jump around and get off topic, which I feel like I've already done. Anyway, like I said, he moved me here knowing full well there was no reason to move me here, because this is not an animal sanctuary. It's simply a front to commit charity and tax fraud. I've also found evidence that he's a Scientologist, and that is terrifying to me, because I already know he's a narcissist, 1,000% positive on that. You'll see everything related to that as well. But he has made enough threats and acted on those threats. He is actively trying to evict me and my animals in January in upstate New York. I'm disabled. I don't have any money because I spent it all to move here. He refuses to reimburse any of it. And I no longer have income, because before I moved here, I had a thriving pet care business, and I had to shut that down in order to relocate 2.5 hours downstate for what I thought was the opportunity I'd waited my whole life for. I really did. I've always just wanted to be part of a sanctuary. I've always wanted to help animals as much as I could. And the way that he made it seem, he knew what to tell me, and he knew what to promise me, and he knew what to say. And the thing is, he has massive properties. He's got 2 30-acre properties. I thought that he was real. I thought that he was an actual wealthy animal lover, doing what I wish other people were doing with their money, which is taking care of animals. So I will be making those follow-up videos. Please keep your eye on this page, whether you found us through TikTok or GoFundMe. I've very reluctantly had to make a GoFundMe to ask for help for myself and my animals in getting out of this situation alive. Steven has already done everything he can to endanger us. He has cut off utilities. There have been several times we've had no water, no power. He's also cut off the internet just to be spiteful, just, small things like that. But it's the fact that myself and my animals are not safe here, which has forced me to speak out about this. So I will be speaking about the animals, which are, of course, the main concern in all of this, in the next video. I will also be showing all of the evidence from the Attorney General and the IRS, as well as any other proof and evidence that I have. If there's any questions, please reach out to me directly. I am an open book. My goal in all of this is to make sure that he stops hoarding animals. He is actively taking in animals and donations under the guise of being an animal sanctuary, and he's not. He is a hoarder, and he needs to be stopped. He is actively also still hurting and defrauding people. I have debt collectors that show up here on a monthly basis for different services that he owes them money for. And he's a very harmful, dangerous person. And I need people to know what's going on and who he really is, especially if something does happen and we don't make it out of the situation, then that's all the more reason that I need for this information to be out there. So please stay with us. Please watch this space. Please share and interact if you can. It would really help us. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that. I appreciate just anyone who listens, because it's a lot. But thank you for listening.